Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the opening lecture of the first IHF Children's Handball Week. My name is Courtney Gahan and I will be the moderator for the 6 sessions that form part of this Handball Week. To begin with, I will outline the translation options we have available so that everyone can understand as we go forward. We have French, Spanish, Arabic and Russian translation available today. These are available only if you're watching on Zoom, and you can find the translation options at the bottom of your screen by looking for the globe icon and selecting the label for your language. Please note that if you need Arabic translation, you should choose the label Chinese. If you're joining us on Facebook right now, one of my colleagues will post the link to Zoom so you can join us here and use the translation options as well. As this is the opening lecture of the first IHF Children's Handball Week, we're going to begin with some words from IHF President Dr. Hassan Mustafa. Welcome, President.
Good afternoon and thank you so much. I'm very happy to be with you today to celebrate together the opening session of the Children Handball Week, and starting from today till 22nd of August. And I wanted to give my word to all our friend, colleague from all the world, even it will be from the federations, referee, teachers, trainers. And I am very happy to be here because the main things for us, for all any sport organizations, the children is the towels to stability of our sport. Therefore, we pay much attention to young generations. The Handball at Schools project established in 2011, where we have about 100 courses in 67 national federations organized. In 2019, Handball at Schools now cabin launch target being 14 million. This is our target for the next between 4 and 6 years to reach. It's about between 40 and 50 million children playing handball worldwide. And if I talk about this amount, I'm talking about for the first small federation and also big federations. Because my opinion, from my experience, that the talented for any sport in everywhere, even it will be small country, big country, and then we have a lot of example in our sports. We have a small federations, they already very strong in handball. Especially we have International Handball Federation, we already decided since the last Congress that we wanted to help and support some federations, they are not active in handball, to use this project as a handball at schools. And also that we want to work very close with the children and also with the teachers in the physical education teachers in the schools, how they like and have to love our sport worldwide. The goal of the Children's Handball Week is to promote handball activities across our member federation that bring joy to all youngest players or children. And you know that for this handball week, starting from the age from 5 till 12 years old, and encourage them to stay active in our sport. And also, I want to give my gratitude for the working group that you are we are already working since 2011 under the leadership of the chairwoman, Madam Hip Kova. Thank you for you and for your member commission in this working group. And I hope that we want to continue to work together very hard. And we as an International Handball Federation, we want to also to give more priority for this project and to give and increase the budget for this commission also. And at the meantime, all of you know that the IHF working since long time to have a new equipment starting from this time. It's like a softball, we like special goals, and we have also to work together with all those people. And at the meantime, also, we want to continue. It means if we're already going to have this handball week, and after finish the handball week, they have to also to continue our activities to promote and develop our sport worldwide. At the meantime, also that I want to give my thanks for all our colleagues and friends from all the world. It means President, General Secretary, members of the federations, and also the teachers, and also trainers, and all those people belong to our sport to go in these directions, because this is the way, and this is the main things for us to promote and develop our sport. And also for your information, you know, handball is a very easy sport. At the meantime, also the fundamentals for the handball is not like another team sport. It's very easy to be active and very easy to make a good result in a very short time. Many thanks for all of you and very good luck for this handball week. And we have to continue together work, put our hand to hand to develop and to promote our sport worldwide. Many thanks for you and very good luck for all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President. So this first IHF Children's Handball Week comprises a total of 6 lectures beginning today, and as Dr. Musafa pointed out, until the 22nd, this Saturday. Every day at 2 p.m. Central European Summertime, we have a lecture presented by a member of the IHF Handball at School working group. This is the second online live seminar session presented by the Virtual Academy recently launched by the IHF to facilitate global online learning. All of this falls under the umbrella of the IHF Education Centre, available at ihfeducation.ihf.info. These lectures are all being recorded, and it is there on the IHF Education Centre that you will be able to access them later for on-demand viewing, along with plenty of other material for the Handball at School program, and plenty more coming as well. I know our working group are working very hard. So our first lecture today is presented by Professor Mohamed Khaled Hammouda, lecturer for the Commission for Coaching and Methods and the Handball at School working group. We will take breaks a few times during this lecture, so feel free to ask your questions, and I will be passing on all the relevant questions to our lecturer as we go. So Professor, we are ready for you to begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I have the pleasure to be part of this first IHF Children's Handball Week project through the lecture titled Understanding the Key Differences Between Adults and Children's Handball. By the end of this lecture, we will have a short time to have questions, but in between, we'll give you the time for any question for the few slides we took during this PowerPoint. The first slide, we want to present our content, which is preparing a kid for his new handball lifestyle and the effects, aspects, the consideration for children development, mini handball, festival, and training the beginners. So during this lecture,
oh, you have to go into the presentation mode.
So during the lecture, I will give a chance for any question. And also by the end of this lecture, there will be a time for final questions. First of all, handball for the handball family is not only a game, but it is a way of succeed in life. It is a lifestyle. And this similarity is in learning the art of cooperating with colleagues and respecting competitors, the joy and the respecting of the competitors, and the pursuit of achieving goals one after another, as well fighting failure, accepting defeat, gaining more ethics, and experiencing joy when achieving success, is found in practicing handball with offensive and defensive skills, both individually or collectively. In its various physiological and physical and psychological and social aspects, it is what a person needs to deal with in his daily life throughout his academic, professional, or personal life. Therefore, the steps taken in preparing a person for his life are the same steps for player takes in practicing handball, starting with mini handball for children before entering the difficult handball competition for adults. But the greatest mistake a teacher or a coach can make is one dealing with children and treat them like adults, and forgetting that the aim of this early stage is not create a lasting positive atmosphere for children in this game. Children grow and develop rapidly, which means that certain aspects must be considered when they are exercising, and these aspects are the physiological aspects, psychological aspects, the social aspects, and the physical aspects, technical aspect too. Before proceeding, we have to understand how these aspects are related to the training sessions. So regarding the physiological, for example, aspect, sometimes coaches do not understand that, for example, the weight training at such young age can affect growth and could cause injury to the bones for the kids at that stage. Therefore, we have to keep in mind that the main aim of this stage is to maintain the harmonic development of children and strengthening their health, supporting that physical and psychological development, while remembering that great performance is not at all in this period. It's not a priority. As during these early years, the main aim of training is teaching children the constructive skills and the coordination's ability and the speed movement. Also, we should understand the psychological aspects of the children before working with the kids during the training sessions. Their motivation, which is very important to design our program at that age, their motivation is key for play, having fun, to move, and enjoyment. Sometimes there is also instability of emotion at that age, and they are rapidly changing from happiness to distress and the opposite. Children dream of playing handball, where bonding with peers come naturally while enjoying the game. And once that happens, they forgot about any sadness or negativity by the end of the competition. Also, they are eager to learn how to win while learning to deal with themselves and with other players from their team to achieve goals. After this small introduction, we can now give you a list of considerations, very important consideration for the coaches, so they can understand about children's development before working with them. But before proceeding, I will give you a time for any question about this previous part, if you have. No questions?
No questions so far, so we can continue.
Okay. So this consideration is very important. It is principles. It is a guidelines to make our session, our training program in the right track, in a scientific mood. As we know that the central nervous system is the main element, the main part to perform the movement. So every coach should know that the ability of to perform the movement depend on development of the central nervous system. That's number one. Also, we have to understand that there is a relative relationship between development of perception and motor ability. Kids should know what they are doing, should understand and have the knowledge for their duties or the way of giving the exercise. So this relation could develop and increase their motor ability. The individuality is something very important in physical education or in sports in general. It is a milestone. So we have always to understand that the development is not a systematic way for all the kids. There is individual capability. So development can occur rapidly or slowly, depending on this individual kid. It's for that we have to give this remark for coaches to be aware that every kid, every child has his own capability. Also, the children develop differently in every age. From 5, for example, to 8 years, this stage are different, has different capability and power than from 8 to 11, for example. So every age should have his own program, as we will see during this session. Also, children, they develop through phases, sometimes rapid growth and sometimes slow growth. For example, the height, it's a rapid growth, but the circumferences of the body is going slow. This is something very important that we should understand to judge our test, to know the result or the meaning of our test. Also, we have to understand that adolescence is a very important principle, is very important base to understand the capability and the levels of the kid during the sessions, because there is a sudden growth right after the adolescence. So when we are trying to choose juniors, for example, or kids for handball, we don't judge about height or waist size before the adolescence, because after this period, they will change a lot. We have to understand also that girls develop and mature earlier than boys. Maybe you know, most of you know that a girl at 11 could have had adolescence, but a boy, it will be at the age of the 13. So always when we are working with girls and boys together, we can have the same session before at just some point at 11 years old, we can understand the differences between them, and we could separate them during the handball training sessions. Also, for the adolescents, we have to understand that the strength, the muscle, and the strength increases about 1 year after adolescence. It's for that we have to be very aware when we are putting our elements on our program, training program, according to the age. So we never go for strength on the beginning of these early stage. By age of 10 to 12, the child is able to learn technical and tactical skills. As we will see after a while, from 5 to 8 is an age who needs to play, to run, to throw. And we are not giving exercise with something to be taught. We are giving him the time to move naturally. There is no techniques or tactics at that age. But after 10 or 12, we will try to teach and give some principle in technique and tactics. Also, endurance and coordination training may be less effective during childhood years, according to the physiological aspects we talked about it, and we will notice that further. The essential condition for the development of motor function is to provide children with much experience as possible. Using the ball, throwing, passing for many times, it will give experience for the kids how to deal with the ball. He will achieve our aim by gaining the experience to use the ball and to move with the ball or without the ball, with his colleague or without. So he will gain experience so he can develop his motor functions. As we said before, it is very important to be aware from the weight training at that stage, because unprogrammed weight training affects the children's growth. It could hurt bones and cause injuries. We have to understand that very carefully. Also, children have smaller heart and less blood volume than an adult. All these considerations give us the idea about our main subject here. What is the difference between dealing with children and dealing with adults? There is a big difference, and it is very dangerous to treat child as a little adult. So, because of the physical and the physiological aspect, the smaller heart and the blood volume, we have to be aware to give the endurance, for example, exercise or the strength activity. The body size is completely different between the children and the adults. So the blood pressure and is lower than the adults because of that body size. So this is a sign to be aware when we are dealing and distributing the load on our training session in that stage also. Also, according to the capability of the children, they cannot work without oxygen. So we have to limit. We have to work away from the anaerobic activities at that age. The kid should be treated very careful and never go to the anaerobic activities, because his respiratory and the blood circulation is not yet capable to maintain his power, his body size. Also, the main aim for training is developing the coordinative abilities and the speed movements. If we are aiming to develop the physical elements, we should aim, as we will see after, to develop the coordination and the speed movement. This is our priority in that stage. As we said, for the psychological elements, aspects, there is instability at that age. Instability of instability of emotion. He could rapidly change from happiness to distress. So when we are dealing, we have to understand why he is suddenly not happy, or why suddenly he is not having fun, and we should think about the way that we are teaching and change the way we are dealing with him at that moment. Because his motivation during that age is to play and play and play and having fun and enjoyment. He is moving always, and we are using his normal movement to give him the chance to increase his motor capability and abilities by playing and playing and playing and having fun and moving also. Children love to run. It's for that, as we will see after, they love to run and they love to make passes, to deal with the ball, to make rolling, to throw, to dribble. So we have to understand that this stage, how to give him the chance to deal with the ball and his colleague always. Finally, the coordination and basic motor skills are achieved by free games and exercises. At that age, the children are eager to play handball, but he is not ready yet. So I will give him a small game and free games and some exercises as the beginning of handball. We will see after some examples. All these considerations, by knowing them and understanding those previous considerations, coaches and professors can deal with their children in handball and organize the program and teaching lessons according to this scientific consideration. Now it is time, before proceeding, to give you the time for any question about the previous part.
Okay, we have a few questions now.
Yes.
So let's begin with, well, you've just spoken about that it's important to pay attention to when the children are happy and unhappy. And somebody asked about this, if there's maybe there's sometimes obvious, but are there things you can look for to see when you think a child is unhappy in the training session?
Again, please.
Somebody asked about how to recognize when the children are enjoying and when they're not. What kind
his movement, his relation, his how to say, his activities with dealing with his colleagues. Is he happy? It is normal if even outside the handball session you could know if somebody is happy or not. Is he positive with the session? Is he running happily? Is he smiling? He is not fighting with his opponent or his colleagues. This is the science. That is some signs to know that he is eager to proceed with his teacher or his coach the rest of his training session.
Okay, somebody else asked about the effectiveness of coordination training for young children, because you mentioned it might not be so effective for young children. And this person said that they have learned differently, so they just wanted to hear a bit more about this.
No, sorry, maybe he misunderstood me. I said that the coordination and speed are the main principle during this stage to develop. It was a very important principle that we said before, that coordination and speed are something very important and essential for that stage. And we will have examples during our next part.
Okay. Somebody asked about training children during the off season. What do you recommend for this in terms of what kind of training and how often should children have training when they're not in season?
That's the problem of thinking about children as little adults. It's for that we are giving this lecture and having these conversations. We are in brainstorming together to understand at last that children are different than adults. Children, they are playing. There is no way that they can play the whole season, because matches and competition for the championship is not our aim. We are building the future player. So we during designing our program, it's not the same way that we are designing for adults. He's playing, having fun. He is moving with the ball, without the ball, doing some exercise and some small games, making free games. So it is during the whole season, especially for the novice from 5 to 8. Sometimes we have, as we will see, having a festival. This is not off season and in season. Okay, so we are aiming to have fun during the whole, starting after the beginners. For the youth, this is something different. It's for that we are comparing between children and adults.
This is a bit related. Somebody asked what is the best age for selection. So I think this is related to talent identification.
Well, to be quick, we have to know that selection is something dynamic. On the very beginning, according to the physical ability, his heart, and after 6 years, there is another time to make selection according to the height, for the positions, for the national teams. It is something dynamic, and that this is a long story. We'll talk about it later in other lecture.
Okay, we can move on now, and we'll come back for some more after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will start to know what is the mini handball. Mini handball is the start where kids take their first step in the world of handball. It is a game for children that they play in small spaces with the minor goals, playing by simple rules and with the special equipments. As we said before, they run, they catch, they jump, they throw, they dribble, and play with other players, using all that natural movement. Mini handball is a game that brings experience, as we said before, with the ball and without the ball. We have to say and to recognize the purpose of this stage is to give children the opportunity to test their abilities and gain positive experience, as we said before. Regardless, we have to put 10 lines under this matter, regardless of winning or losing during the competition or the small games. In addition, it also teaches them to play fairly and to behave politely. We are building the future person, the good person in handball and outside the handball field. While showing respect to others, not only, as I say, in training and competition, but outside the field. This game teach to understand the tolerance, to respect, the meaning of equality, the dignity. So handball, mini handball is the first step to be on the lifestyle, as we said before, in handball. There is a very important matter at that stage when we are dealing with children. Parents. Parents play a vital role in the children's mini handball life. And their existence is very important during this period. They try to help us in keeping in consideration that not every active parent is a good coach. He is a parent, but he is not a coach for his children. Some of them can make a crucial mistake during the training process. During the handball sessions, during the mini handball training process, he is always or often, some of them, interfering in the fitness and the training session. This type of parents are usually too involved and too focused on immediate results of performance without respecting the age of their children. Therefore, the coaches should not be under pressure of such parents, because in general, coaches are working with kids and they can usually recognize whether the handball will become a part of their entire life or not. This was a very important note about the important role of the parents during this stage. After dealing with the mini handball, there is a ceremony of mini handball during the festivals. The ceremony for mini handball is beautiful, is exciting occasion that clubs and federations look forward to attending. It has a great impact on spreading the game among the sports community, grabbing the interest of more participants. It also helps in displaying the talents of children and bringing them feeling of joy, fun, happiness, while helping them dream of becoming future handball stars. Also, adding mini handball shows in opening these ceremonies of international and continental tournaments helps in spreading cheerful atmosphere and unifies the love these children have for their country. Following this stage of mini handball, from 5 to 8 years, which we call it novice, coaches can train the beginners from 8 to 11 years the handball. At that stage, we call them beginners. We will start to train the beginner from 8 to 11. To deal with those kids, we have to put goals. The first goal is to give the vision of the handball, to give him at that age what is the total frame of the handball. He has to watch matches, he has to see movies, he should see the stars of the handball players, the technique. So we have to develop the unity of the total frame of the game for the beginners. Also, here, as I said before, that the coordination is our aim. Coordination, coordination, coordination. Developing the kinetic maturity resulting from the neuromuscular coordination. This is the whole goal during the stage of the beginners. To do that, we have 5 stages. The first stage, we call it the stage of the basic movement, which aim to create the friendship between those beginners and the game. But what is the game, the handball game? The game of the handball have elements. We have the ball, we have the court, we have colleagues, we have opponent, we have atmosphere. So in this first stage, we have to create the friendship, the love between the beginner and the ball, between the beginner and the court, between him and his colleague, between him and his opponent, by doing activities which doesn't need to be taught, not related to any rules, as we saw, doing whatever he wants with the ball, to get familiar with the ball, to know the round of the ball, the weight of the ball, the rebounds, the directions, how to keep in touch with my colleague, to know the lines, 6 meters, 9 meters, to understand my new area. The second stage, which will give us a little approach further, is the stage of exercises, the basic movement, which aims to adapt the beginner's physical ability with the speed direction. As we said, coordination and speed. He knows how to deal with the ball, but now he is a little bit capable to do the same movement, but according to some speed and to be related with the direction of the ball. And from now, he should know that there is a specific distance and specific direction according to the court and the colleague. It's for that there is some idea about some drills to prepare the beginner to develop the general movement, also with drills not in need to be taught, using his big muscles, throwing the ball and have it back, leave it to make a rebound, going right, going left, always running forward. To be familiar in this new area, which is the handball court, because this is his new home, is the new life. To move in this field with the ball or without the ball, with a colleague or without a colleague. The third stage is coming a little bit different, is the accurate movement. We are starting a little bit, but with the same philosophy, with drills, not to be taught, simple and fun. Accurate movement. Here we are aiming to develop the physical ability to deal with the nature of our handball movement in curves. We have the 6 meters in a curve. We have the 9 meter in the curve. The motion of the wings and the back is always curves. So starting from now, we will have some drills so the children use to move in short curved line with the ball or without the ball, because when he is attacking or when he is defending, he is moving in curve. And this is the same idea about some drills, which he is going right and left in curves, jumping on the same foot, jumping on the left foot, making circles while he is going forward, making double takeoff, whatever he wants, but we are trying to give him the idea to move in curves. As we saw in these stages, he is always going forward. But handball is not always attack, but we are in most of the time in defense movement. So the stage number 4, we call it stage of defense movement, which here we aim to develop the beginner's ability to move backwards and backsides. And from there, we have to give the drills by knowing that he should move backward with appropriate steps, alone sometimes, and then with a colleague who acts as an attack, and I have to keep the distance between me as a defender and my opponent. If he goes right or left, I am trying to manage my direction to keep the distance and to move right according to his movement. This could be alone first, and then if we can think, we can do stage number 2 and stage number 4, or stage number 3 and stage the opponent is doing the basic movement or the accurate movement, while my drills here is developing the defense movement. Because usually defense drills are not suitable if I am not dealing with the ball. So we have here to put both stages together, 2 and 4 or 3 and 5. After a while, the beginner is capable and eager to go to compete, to start competitions and to play games. He is eager to go to the handball, but he is not mature yet. So I will give him some small games, some competitions, which he can make all the drills by passing, dealing with the ball, or without a ball with his colleague. And as you can observe, beginner moves in a group exercise. You can create whatever you want. You can have your imagination, what to use from equipment, what kind of competition you can organize, just to give them the spirit to compete, the spirit to be near the handball, real handball game, which he is looking forward to be a star. These are some kind of idea about the 5 stages, which we finally, and because of these, I want to give you something as a project. Because of the unusual time we are currently living in, regards to the training methods, safety factors, and health requirements, under coronavirus pandemic, must be strictly followed. As we know that we stopped activities in clubs, but we had some examples for some coaches would give an idea how to keep the kids informed with and attached with our session during this stage. This was an experience of one of our coaches in Egypt, how to keep in touch with his players, with his beginners during the locked down period. by the end of this session, I would like to thank you all for watching my session. And definitely, we should be all now convinced by the declaration of the World Health Organization that children are not little others. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best. And if you have, it's time for question, any kind of question. Thank you.
We do have a lot of questions. Just for everyone to know, we've had a look at all your questions, and there are a few questions that have been asked that are going to be addressed in other lectures. So we're just going to focus on some that are not going to be addressed later. For example, tomorrow you will learn all about how to implement mini handball for children and competitions and so on. So, okay, Professor, let's begin with, well, okay, a few people have asked, what do you think is a good length of training sessions for children?
What is the?
A good length, an ideal length time for a training session with children.
You mean age?
No, like a time for how long a training session should be.
It depends. It depends on the capability, the abilities of gaining the experience. It's not, if we are talking about the individuality, so we have to deal with each kid as his capability. What moment he is ready to proceed, I have to give him the session and give him the exercise, and waiting till he is ready to have a complex exercise, a difficult exercise. So it depends. And if I am working in group, I have to be aware that even I am dealing with groups, but in this group, they are individuals. So it depends about the time each group needs to get the experience.
Okay, someone else has asked about how to cultivate a love of the game. What is your, I'm sure there are many ways, but what are your best tips?
The best tip is to give him courage, to give him hope, to give him the chance to dream that he will be a star. Always to give him a good sign that he is the best, he is doing better. Emotions, to give him the sense that he is a success kid, a success player. He has the future.
Someone else asked about how to help children with emotional development through handball.
Well, it's always to give my kids, my beginners, the idea of, if they are progressing, we will go to watch a tournament, or to be in a meeting with a star of our national team, if I can. And this is very simple, to give them the chance to feel that he is in relation with the star, with the national team, to play in his emotions by positive way. This is something very important. It is by nature. Each coach should think, should try to create create idea how to make his own child happy as he is his son.
Okay, so speaking about this, actually, somebody asked how to handle when parents are not interested in sport, but a child is.
This is a problem because during this stage, parents are very important. And to have a good relation with parents and convince them that the future of his kids is huge and he could be one of the famous on the national team or on his club, and of course giving them the parents the idea about what is the bonus from being a sportsman in physically or manners, or to be a good member in the community. I think this is the best way to have a friendship, as you are saying, to get a good relationship with the parents, to be always in contact with them. Parents are very, very, very important at this stage to bring them the children and to take care from those children, how they have rest, sleep, eat, and be in time during the training sessions.
Okay, somebody else asked about, we have some questions just about like 5-year-old children. What is the most important thing to work on? And the main principles when working with, say, 5-year-old children.
We said that if we understand from 5 to 8 years old what is the emotions and the needs of this stage, is to play and play and play, to move, to be happy, to have fun, to have enjoyment. So during this 5 years old stage, I have to make them happy only. I'm not aiming to any other thing, just to give them a ball, colorful ball, even tennis ball, volleyball, football, handball, different kinds of balls, so he can have a relation, to be friend with these new tools he is dealing with. So the secret of the password to deal with that stage is to make him happy, to let him play and play and play. That's quite simple.
And what about when children are aged 12? Can girls and boys play together then, or when should they start to separate?
We talked about that according to the adolescents, and we said that girls are earlier in adolescence, so it is better from 11 or 12 years old to separate them. We can say even 10 years old, we should start to separate them from that age, because according to the physiological changes and of course the psychological aspects and physical too.
Okay. We'll do one more question. Just somebody asked, what do you think are the criteria for being a good children's coach?
To love working with kids, to feel like you are a father, to love teaching, to be patient, to feel that you are happy and not an employee in a club, to think that those kids are your sons and daughters, to feel happiness and to always try to know each individual kid, his ability, his capability, to know him as his real son. Coach, enduring that stage, in my opinion, is more important than on the national team. He is creating the future of the handball in this community. He is the best coach who the federation could get in this age. Undeveloped country think the contrary. But
right.
but the good countries, the good federation know the value of the coach who is dealing with the beginners and the kids.
Okay, I think we'll stop there. We're a little bit over time, so thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
So thank you for joining us for the first session, everybody. I see there are a lot of questions we didn't get to, but as I mentioned before, part of the reason we didn't ask some of these questions is because they will be addressed in the upcoming lectures. So I really hope you'll be able to join us again. Tomorrow, the next lecture we have at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time is with IHF lecturer Craig Rott, and this is about utilizing events and competitions to further develop handball for children. So this is where you'll get a lot of some of the answers you were asking today about more specific things. Thank you again, Professor. Thank you to everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much. See you.
We will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.